Today we're going to talk about the magic wand tool, but what's really odd about this is that we're in Illustrator. So I don't know if you've ever noticed, but right below your move tool, there's a magic wand tool, and you can see with the tool tip that the keyboard shortcut is the letter Y. So if I just hit Y, it switches to the magic wand tool, and it works similarly to Photoshop. So it selects similar colors to where you clicked. So by default, though, the colors don't need to be touching. Like the default in Photoshop is the colors need to be touching by default. That's changeable. But here, if I click on this red square with the blue stroke, it selects both squares. Even if this is a more orangey red, it's a different red. And the stroke is actually lighter. It doesn't show a lot, but it's lighter and it's thicker. So it's selected both of those, even if they are slightly different. So the way to change that is to go to the window menu and then choose the magic wand palette. So there's a whole palette dedicated to this tool. By default, the magic wand palette opens collapsed. It opens like this. So there are actually more options than this, and you can turn them on in two ways. You can double click on the name, or else you can go and turn them on here. Show strokes, show transparency, or else look, when I double click on the name, it collapses it or expands it. So that's the same everywhere in Creative Suite. So let's look at this. This fill color and the tolerance is 20. So I don't know what the 20 means. 20 levels of color, or I don't know. It's not a percentage. I'm not sure what it means, but it's set to 20 either way by default. So if I hit the Y key on the keyboard and I click on it, it selects the two of them. Let's do a little test. I'm going to increase the number here. So all I'm going to do is click on the word tolerance and then shift up, and it's going to go up by 10 levels, and I'll just hit enter. Now I'm going to deselect by doing shift command A, and I'm going to click again. Oh, look at that. So it tolerates a bigger change in the color. Okay, so this is getting more orange as we go to the right, and it tolerated more change. So if I exaggerate here and I go up by a lot, let's do that again. Let's click on the first one, and it's selected all of them. Okay, so because I've allowed more variety in what it'll select. So that's pretty cool. Let's put it back to 20. And then you can turn on all these other things. So I'll let you play with these a little bit, but by default, let's give it a go. Because what I wanted to figure out about this at the start is if these are and statements or. So, right, like it could be... it could select this, or maybe it's saying select this and this, which makes a difference. So I'm going to deselect, and let's just do a test here. Let's just click, and here, before when it was at 20, it would select 2, but now the tolerance is at 20 on the stroke color, and it's not selecting the other one. So we need to increase our tolerance if we want to select the 2 squares. So let's try that again, and now it works. Okay, so it doesn't, despite the fact that this worked before, when we give it another condition, it gets more strict. Okay, as you add, if I would turn all these on and set the tolerances fairly low, like this, like they are, then it would probably never select anything. If I just click, no, it's still selected the 2 of them, because I guess the tolerances are set that way. So that's how the magic wand tool works. I just want to show you one difference here. If I flip over to this advertisement, I'm going to turn these back off again just to get, these are the default settings in the palette. All of these reds in this ad are the same red. I'll move this over a bit because there's an Adobe logo there too. Now watch this. If I click on the guy, it selects the logo because it's the same red. So that's logical. And it selects the guy, but it does not select the text, despite the fact it's the same red. So this only works for vector shapes. It doesn't work for live text. Clearly it would do it if it was outlined. So I'm going to deselect, and I'm going to show you if ever you want to select all of the same fill color, for example, in a whole piece of art. Number one, you make sure that everything is unlocked, and I do that by either checking the layers palette, or else I do Option Command 2, and that unlocks everything on the page. And then I go to the select menu and I say same fill color. And now when I select that, see, it's selected all my text frames because they have some red in them. So it selected everything I wanted. Okay, so that's a kind of a more global way of selecting similar items in Illustrator.